So today I have a watch from Christopher Ward. I've been really looking forward to getting some hands-on time with. This is the third watch from the brand we've had in over the last few months. And one thing I'm really liking about Christopher Ward is the variety in the models they offer. They go from vintage inspired to very much modern in styling. The C60 Sapphire is definitely on that modern side, especially with the way that they've done the dial. Big thanks to Christopher Ward for lending in the watch for us to take a look at together. So let's check it out. Now, to start, I just want to talk a little bit about build quality. So far, with each watch I've had in from the brand, the finish work has been very good. When it comes to build quality, it's the moving parts a lot of times where you start to see and feel the difference from not so good to okayish to really good, and everything just feels right with the watches I've experienced so far. The crown action is very smooth to unscrew and screw back in. Winding action feels great. And the crown, which is signed, is just the right size for easy use. Same goes for the bezel action. It's got a nice feel in hand. I'll come back to the bezel here in a minute, but I just wanted to quickly touch on how this feels when you use the watch. They have a knack for making their watches feel refined and at the same time very sturdily constructed. And that actually brings me to the bracelet. It is super solid and has a couple tricks up its sleeve. One, it is quick release, which is always good to have, especially on a bracelet. We've got the little tabs here on the end links, so very easy to remove and put back on. The second is the clasp is adjustable. The clasp is signed with the company logo and then signed again here on the underside with Christopher Ward. On the bottom of the clasp, there's this little button here. You just push on that, pull out the bracelet, and that's going to give you about an extra 3/4 of a link in length. This is my first time actually with a bracelet from Christopher Ward, and it is really good, really well-built bracelet. To the dial, though, and this is definitely the most unique aspect of the watch. Now, I'm not sure if this is technically a skeleton type dial. I guess it probably isn't, but the movement is visible through it. The dial is made using a sapphire crystal backed with a layer of polycarbonate, giving it the blue coloring. They've also done the same with the crystal on the display case back. I like that they've added some orange accents at every 5-minute mark on the chapter ring. They've also done that on the tip of the second hand and the text at the bottom of the dial. The finish work on the hands and markers is excellent. I really like that shape too, especially the hour hand. The logo at the 12 is painted on, but not flat. The way they applied it, it stands up off the dial a little. We've got Christopher Ward printed over at the 9, and on the opposite at 3 is the date. The loom they're using is X1, so a top grade loom formula. One thing I was surprised to see was the blue markings on the bezel being loomed. It's not quite as bright and long lasting as the rest of the loom, but it's still not bad. The bezel is a 120 click bezel, zero issues gripping it with this coin edge. The insert is stainless, which works nicely with the overall look. I mentioned already, but it's got a great feel and hand to use. Very nice action and sounds nice too. The watch is sized right for a lot of wrist sizes with a case with the 40 millimeters on the dot. Lug to lug is 47.2 millimeters. The thickness is 13.4 millimeters and the lug opening is 20 millimeters. Water resist is a huge 600 meters and the watch is powered by the Sellita SW200, which is hacking and hand winding with a power reserve of about 38 hours. The watch wears very comfortably on my 7.25-inch wrist. The bracelet feels great. It tapers down to under 18 millimeters at the clasp, which helps with the comfort level. Now, I could see some maybe not being into this type of dial, showing the movement through the dial. I'd probably go for a C60 with a more traditional dial myself, but it's cool that they have options like this, and I ended up liking this quite a bit more than I expected. It's a pretty neat watch. Cost on these start at $910 US on a strap and $1,030 on bracelet. I haven't owned a Christopher Ward yet, but I plan to, and when I do, I'll definitely be going with a bracelet. I love the features with the quick release and adjustable clasp. So that is it, guys. Thanks again to Christopher Ward for lending this into the channel. Really appreciate it. Thanks to you guys for stopping by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.